Police call. Me when you're ready.
All right, ready.
Good evening and welcome to the Select Board meeting of Tuesday, December 17th. My name is Jim Lehan. I am joined by my fellow Select Board members, Mr. Roach, and Miss Anita Mecklenburg is trying to join us by Zoom. Hopefully she'll be able to come, but we're having technical difficulties, so hopefully she'll be on here shortly.
I'm
Would
here,
you all
Jim.
stand, please, and join me to a Pledge of Allegiance? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which she stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. We have some folks that have joined us. Ms. Mecklenburg, welcome.
Thank you.
We have started a little late in hopes of your arrival. Nice to have you with us. Ms. Mecklenburg is visiting family during the holiday, so is joining us by Zoom. So we're grateful for you taking the time to join us this evening. Thank you.
Yes, I'm happy to be here.
Now we need to turn that up.
Do we have any public comment this evening? Seeing none, we will move then to the agenda.
I'm sorry, I would like to make a public comment, if I may.
I'm sorry, Mr. Rosenberg, I did not see your hand. Please, feel free.
In past years, sometimes the Select Board has held, or members of the Select Board...
Mr. Rosenberg, hold on one second. We cannot hear you very clearly. Let's see if we can get the volume up a little bit, sir, so we can hear you.
So I don't know if it's like just that TV.
Bear with us.
You haven't talked to me.
Mr. Rosenberg, speak again, sir. Oh, perfect.
Hear me now. Okay, so I'm saying that sometimes the Select Board or members of the Select Board have held pre-town meeting discussions so that people could ask questions about warrant
Mr. Rosenberg, I'm not sure you can hear me, but we're having technical difficulty and we cannot hear you at the moment, so bear with us.
Why don't I just put the,
Just switch that on, let's see.
Should I leave it on here?
Wow.
Or is the video?
Just audio.
Yeah.
Am I getting feedback through there? I can hear through there.
Yeah.
Can you get the volume up?
Or should I not?
Jim, I don't think the online's going to work today. I think we should just proceed.
Tell Mr. Rosenberg he has to make a public comment next meeting.
Send in writing or something.
Is what it is.
Would it help if I phoned in rather than trying to speak through Zoom?
I think, can we hear him? Yeah, I think we're good.
Yep.
All right, Mr. Rosenberg, go ahead, sir.
Thank you. In the past, on occasion, there have been pre-town meeting sessions where the warrant for the town meeting was reviewed and people were able to ask questions about warrant articles, and boards or committees sponsoring articles were able to talk about a motion they intended to make that might be different from what was printed in the warrant. I found those sessions very useful, and I would like to encourage the Select Board or Select Board members to resume the practice of holding, I'll say, town meeting preview sessions where no formal action could be taken, but there was discussion of warrant articles so that the public understood them as well as possible prior to the actual town meeting, and so that people sponsoring, or boards or committees sponsoring warrant articles could talk both about the motivation for them and maybe other alternatives that were considered, and most importantly, intentions to make a motion that was not identical to what was printed in the warrant. So this is an encouragement to resume that practice.
Thank you very much, sir. Any other public comment this evening?
Ray's trying.
Ray, I see you trying to say something, but you're muted. Ray, we cannot hear you, sir.
Trying to get off.
Yeah.
Is he muted at his end or
Yeah, it's on his end. Yeah, it's on his end.
it's our end?
It's his end.
His end.
I just asked him.
Oh, okay.
Can you hear me now?
Yes, we can, Ray. Thank you. All right, is this under public comment, Ray?
Yes. Regarding the item on your agenda for abatement, I was wondering were those proposed changes or programs published anywhere or provided for public use?
We will discuss that under the agenda item and answer hopefully that question.
Thank you.
Is there any further public comment? Our apologies for it being so difficult, but we'll get there. All right. Moving on to our action items this evening. First, we have the development agreement and selection of an LSP. Justin, you want to just do a quick review of the development agreement and the process we've gone through, and we'll join you in that discussion.
Sure.
Can you?
We're trying.
Okay. We're getting triple feedback here, so.
So
They have a lot of echo on Zoom as well. Sorry.
Okay.
the board met in several executive sessions. We communicated with GFI partners regarding a development agreement. There is no acquiring any property or anything in this development agreement. I know that's something that some members of the public had said was an issue of concern. We do secure $20,000 from GFI partners to allow the board to get an independent LSP. And there's two companies that we've solicited bid proposals from in the board's packet for the board to consider. One is Apex, as well as Weston & Sampson. The board has worked with Weston & Sampson before, and another property has worked with a PIP group. So we've, I think our planner has recommended, potentially looking at Weston & Sampson, but obviously it's the board's decision on what group to move forward with independent LSP, who will provide independent direct LSP services at the board's discretion, which is independent of GFI. And that was secured with the board's leadership and part of the negotiation with GFI in the development agreement. And that's what's before the board today, or tonight, excuse me.
I'd just like to add in one additional agreement regarding the developer agreement. This is not a permitting document.
Correct.
This is an outline of a mutual understanding of how this project will go forward and the roles of the various parties involved. It has nothing to do with the permitting process. All the requirements that will be normally part of the permitting process are still in force and still in play and are irrelevant of this agreement. So I want to be sure that people don't misunderstand its purpose or why, in fact, we're doing it. But it shows a commitment on both parties that we think this is a good project. And we want it to be done correctly, and part of that process obviously is the cleanup component, and we want our own LSP to be involved in the process to ensure that it meets not only the state's requirements and their requirements, but ours as well. So, Ms. Mecklenburg, do you have any comments on the developer agreement per se?
No, I've been pleased with the developer's willingness to partner with the town. I feel like this is a win-win situation, and I feel like when you were talking about the cleanup, I think the developer agreement is one package on one side, and the cleanup is the other part where we're getting the independent LLP so that we can make sure that is done to the satisfaction of the town. So I think it's a nice partnership for us, and I think it has those safety features so that we have the protections that we need to ensure that our citizens have the cleanup done appropriately.
Mr. Roach?
I agree. Yep.
So our next task under that is you have two potential companies to work with as LSPs. I reviewed them both. I have my own personal view on this. Let me ask each of you individually before I make my say. Anita, do you have a particular choice of the two that are available to us?
Yes, didn't Rich have a recommendation of Weston Sampson, is that correct?
Rich has made that recommendation.
And so I would concur with that for two reasons. One, because I want to support Rich's decision, but also a variable that was, can you hear me? Well, the other
Yes.
one was a variable that their previous relationship with the PIP group is really helpful because we really want that partnership to be strong. So I would agree, that I would support his decision with Weston Sampson. Well, even though they're both, I think, excellent choices.
Mr. Roach?
Yes, I agree. We've worked with them in the past, and I think it's
I concur. They are experienced with the town, we have experience with them, and I think they would be the correct choice. Justin, you have a differing view, or you concur?
I concur with the board's assessment and what Rich has said as well.
Do I have a motion we'll have to do this through roll call vote as we have Anita on remote. Do I have a motion to approve that selection?
Oh, may I ask a question before I make the motion?
Sure.
Justin, are there two motions? One to approve the development agreement and then a second one to authorize the town administrator to enter into a contract with Weston Sampson?
No, Anita, the development agreement was already approved by the board in executive session at your last meeting. It would just be for the selection of
that's right. So do you want me to authorize the town administrator?
Yeah, it would make it simple.
So I move that we authorize the town administrator to enter into contact with Weston Sampson to act as the LLP in the project that to act as our LLP to a maximum amount of $20,000.
We need to make a friendly amendment on that. The $20,000 is the contribution from the developer. That's not the total cost of the process. So we leave the cost out in terms of the motion, if that's agreeable.
That's agreeable to me. Do you want me to do it again?
If you, a friendly amendment, just to eliminate the language
That's
regarding
fine.
the cost, will be fine.
That's fine.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Any further discussion? All in favor, say aye. Roll call vote. My apologies. I keep forgetting we're on a remote here. And Ms. Mecklenburg.
Anita Mecklenburg, aye.
Kevin Roach, aye.
Jim Lehan, aye. Very good. Metacomet Greenway update.
So the next item on the agenda, I'm going to have an update from Richard McCarthy, who's our planner, but just a quick sort of segue into it. Rich, come up. So part of the state's agreement, so the state is providing some funding for this project, but as part of the state's agreement, there's a 20% match requirement. The CPC is providing that match requirement. And all of the towns involved with this, Walpole, Rentham, and Norfolk, are required to put a 20% match. Rich can quickly speak about the project and sort of next steps there, but we're excited about this opportunity to proceed on the project.
As am I. Yeah. Welcome, Rich.
Thank you. Greeting, Richard McCarthy, Norfolk Town Planner. As Justin mentioned, it's a collaborative project between the three communities. Currently where we're at is we've advertised for a request for qualifications for a professional design team in order to start the design, engineering, and permitting. The proposals are due just after the new year. Selections will be made by the three communities collaborating together, reviewing the proposals and making a selection which is based on qualifications. Once that's done, as part of the process is these contracts that are before you in terms of Mass DOT. And then after that, we would start into the design process. It will occur over essentially multiple years, the way this will lay out, in terms of a 25% design, 75%, and then 100% design. The project has been reviewed by MassDOT in terms of the overall project. It has an estimated cost value that's been assigned to it. The total project for this phase is 4.5 miles between the three communities. The preliminary budget is $19 million for that project, which is funded through the state, Mass DOT, which that, once we get to a 25% design level with the project, we can then, what we call, plug it into the transportation improvement plan, and that gets done at the state level, working with the Metropolitan Planning Organization. Through that process, there'll be meetings with abutters, constituents, community groups, etc., looking at the design. Just a refresher, on our piece of it, there's a proposed bridge over Pine Street, 115. So that's been incorporated in the cost estimate to do a design over 115. So we're not talking about a grade crossing there at all. So that was preliminary identified in there. And as you did approve the developers agreement, which is the former Southwood Hospital site is part of that rail bed. As that moves along, as they go through that process, there'll be design work going on simultaneously. As things move along and they have a clean bill of health with their end of it, then it would set the stage for the rail trail at some point down the road. We do have to negotiate some easements with private property owners. There are two other property owners in Norfolk in particular. Leading up to this point, there's been conversations with those property owners. So they've been alerted to the fact that the three towns are working on the project. So the thought of this project moving forward will not be a surprise to them. Hopefully, we're in a situation where we can get easements without necessarily having to provide much compensation to those property owners. But that's down the road as we get further along. And as you mentioned, I'm very excited as well. Long time coming, a great collaborative effort between the three town staff, boards, committees, residents, and so forth. So this has moved along, although it's taken some time, it's moved along pretty quickly in the scheme of things. So very excited.
Yeah, it's a great project. You answered the only question I have, which is in Section 8 of the agreement, which is around the responsibility for acquiring the necessary rights, including temporary and permanent easements. You don't anticipate any
I don't think so on our
there?
end of it, no.
Okay.
Like I said, we've been having conversations with those property owners, and one of them is I'll say the middle section between Hill Street and Pine Street. There's a proposed development project, which they've been alerted early on in their planning stages that this project is coming along to make accommodations for it. So I don't see any issues in their end. And the third piece, which is on the other side of Pine Street going towards Rentham, similarly having conversations with that property owner as well. So I think we're in pretty good shape. I think the Walpole's in very good shape. I think the lion's share of that work in terms of property rights and easements will be in Rentham. But that's going to be, each community will kind of task to handle their aspect of those things. So it's not like, so my colleague in Rentham, they're going to be tasked to handle that aspect. I'm not going to be working in Rentham and vice versa. So we're going to be working as a collaborative team with the engineering company who we pick.
Questions?
I have none.
Ms. Mecklenburg, any questions?
I just wanted to agree with you that I think this is an excellent project, and so thank you, Rich, for the work that you and your team have put into it. I did, in reading through the material, it seemed like the Massachusetts DOT community compliance officer is going to be really important throughout all the stages of the process. Do we know who that is?
I don't at this point.
So it just seemed, as I read through all the stages, which were exciting to read through, it seemed like, and this has to go through this person, this, and I thought that would be good to kind of, for me to kind of have a sense of who that person is. But, so once we figure out who that person is, I think that there'll be a player in the project to help it go as smoothly as possible. Thank you for all your work on this. I think it's a great opportunity for our residents.
Thank you.
Yeah, I second that. This has been a long time in coming. Been a lot of work done on this project, so I thank you as well. Yeah. Any further questions from the board? We need a motion to approve the town administrator to sign the municipal project agreement. Do I have such a
I move that
motion?
we authorize the town administrator to sign the documents to enter into an agreement with the state to move forward with this project.
I'll second the motion.
Further discussion? Roll call vote. Ms. Mecklenburg.
Anita Mecklenburg, aye.
Jim Lehan, aye.
Kevin Roach, aye.
Rich, thank you very much.
Thank you. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you as well, sir.
Thank you, Rich.
Thank you.
Third item, water sewer abatement policy.
Yes, in the board's package, a proposed water and sewer abatement policy. As the board is aware, the town has never really formally adopted an abatement policy. The practice has been that if a resident were to request an abatement, it would go to the DPW director, and the DPW director would either recommend an abatement and the board would consider it, or he would not, and it would never come before the board. Obviously, as we've implemented a sewer district as well, we thought that it would be prudent to formally adopt a water and sewer abatement policy rather than just have an informal version of it. So I've spoke with town council, I spoke with Blair. We feel comfortable with this sort of policy and just putting it on the books and making it transparent for residents to understand our abatement policy. So we have this presented for the board to consider for adoption. And that's what I have concerning it. In terms of the question about whether this was presented to the public previously, it was not. It was not presented to the public before. It's not required to. There's no hearing required or anything like that. Like I said, I think it's more a recommendation after speaking with council. As we adopt a sewer district, might want to have a formal water and sewer abatement policy.
Well, I think it's required that we have such a policy.
Yeah.
And not so much for but for the people that might want to exercise their rights under this. And there should be a formal policy in place that allows, it outlines for folks to be able to go through the process, as opposed to the informality of just going to the DPW and somebody saying yes or no. So I fully support this. Ms. Mecklenburg, comments?
Yeah, I support it as well. I think that we're a small community, so there's a lot of things that we've done for a long time that have been effective but informal, and so formalizing them allows people to know where they stand, and it shows them the process that we need to go through. So I appreciate, Justin, that you went through the effort to put this together, and I'm all in favor.
Okay. Mr. Roach?
Yes, I agree with it.
Okay. Any further comments? Do I have a motion to adopt the policy as so stated?
So moved.
Do I have a second?
I'll second.
Roll call vote. Ms. Mecklenburg?
Anita Mecklenburg, aye.
Jim Lehan, aye.
Kevin Roach, aye.
Thank you very much. If you don't mind, I'll join in on this one. This one is with great pleasure. To appoint Carol Green to the Norfolk Housing Authority, the term ending May 6th, 2025. Carol has been a longstanding member of the Housing Authority as the governor's appointee, and is more interested, I think, in being a local permanent resident member of that board, and we're thrilled that she has volunteered to take that position as there is currently a vacancy. So I, for one, heartily endorse this recommendation, and does anyone have any additional comments or thoughts?
It's an excellent recommendation, and we're very fortunate that Carol is interested in participating in this.
Do I have a motion to approve the appointment?
I move that we appoint Carol Green to the Norfolk Housing Authority with a term ending May 6, 2025.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Further discussion? Roll call vote. Anita? Oh, we missed you, sorry.
Anita Mecklenburg, aye.
Kevin?
Kevin Roach, aye.
Jim Lehan, aye. Thank you very much. Carol, congratulations, and thank you for your long service on that board.
Very much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Have a good night. Happy holidays.
Happy holidays to you as well. Last action item on our agenda is the town administrator to execute a municipal aggregation contract. We're going to have a little conversation on this, I think. So, Justin, I'll turn it over to you, sir.
Absolutely. So first, I'm going to be introducing a couple of people from our consulting group. I know they're familiar faces and names
Welcome
now.
again. Nice to
It's
see
Mark,
you.
Denise, and Joseph from Colonial Power Group. We're really excited about this. Obviously, the board at their last meeting had a discussion regarding indicative pricing. We have some information for the board. We also have Charlie from the Energy Committee, and I did forward to the board recommendation for the Energy Committee. In the board's packet is a memo regarding this. I'm going to have Denise and Mark sort of give you a summation of where we're at right now. But, you know, we went out to the market. We have a couple of options here that can save residents some money right now, definitely. But, you know, provide some opportunity for aggregation moving forward.
Mark Capitone, Colonial Power.
Welcome.
Nice to see you tonight. So we went out to the marketplace just to check out some indicative pricing, just to see how the town of Norfolk's load kind of adds up against what will be the basic service rate of 13.2. We see some very advantageous pricing, for 18 and 30 months. From that perspective, there's lots of good news if the town decided to move forward. Again, it's the town that gets to decide. I don't know if this is in your packet or not.
It is.
It is.
So I'm just going to quickly run down it so that you'll fully understand what you're looking at. The top tranche, the top, what would be 2, 4, 6 prices, that's a basic service product. The exact same thing that you'd get from Eversource. So that's an exact match to match. So at 30 months, you can get you can lock in a price at 12,280 compared to their price starting in February is going to be 13,2. That's their summer rate. I expect it to rise slightly in August. But as you can see, your load profile compared to theirs is more advantageous. The next tranche down is a national wind product, meaning that we'll buy renewable energy certificates across the United States, making that product 100% renewable, if it was something that interests the town. And then the next 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 are local renewables, but they're mass class 1s. So that means that the town would be purchasing renewable energy certificates from Massachusetts projects built after 1997. Most of them, just so that you're aware, are wind and solar. Older solar, because of the pricing that you see here, new solar is a little bit more expensive, but when it gets 20 years old and there's still solar, they're able to produce a mass class 1 REC. What I want to make sure that the town understands, any risks that come along with this pricing is not on the town. The town doesn't take any financial risk at all. So I just want to make sure that everyone hears this up front. So let's just say the price of you went with a 30-month at the 12,280, and 6 months from now, for whatever reason, Harmony comes across the planet in this piece, and energy prices fall, and it's 6 cents. Everyone opts out of it, which they should. Everyone opts out of the aggregation. No fees, no penalties. They get out of the aggregation. That price is still there. Mr. Putin loses his mind again, starts dropping bombs through Europe in the next 6 months, and prices go back to 22 cents. Everyone leaves wherever they were, basic service or any other program, comes back to the program, there's no fee or penalty, and that price is still there for the town. It's a contract between you and the supplier. Town takes no financial risk. So what the deal is, you allow the winning supplier to serve your citizenry under these terms and conditions, that they can opt out and opt in at any time without fee or penalty. And by doing so, they take these risks. So what I think tonight what we're looking for is the select board to give the town administrator the authority to sign off on a contract on a certain, whether it's 12 or 18, whether it's 18 to 30 months. And then just product selection is needed.
Let me,
Yes.
let me see if I can try the Cliff Note version of what you just said.
Sure.
So in essence, what we're doing, as I understand this, is that we're providing a guaranteed rate to the citizens of our community.
Yes.
That will be a very competitive rate.
Correct.
And that if they find a rate that is more advantageous, they are free to take that at any point in time. If that rate varies to the point where it is no longer competitive, they can opt in at the rate that was guaranteed from day one. So they have the privilege of going in and out based on whatever other rate they may find. So they're not really assuming any risk. We're giving them a lowball guarantee that is there at any point in time that they may need it. Is that a fair way to say it?
Honestly, that's the best way to say it, because you're really bringing a choice that didn't exist in the marketplace prior.
That's the point of it. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay.
And Jim, I think that's part of why in my recommendation, especially after speaking with the team over there, and after speaking with the Energy Committee, we sort of aligned with offering a 30-month opportunity seemed to make sense to us because of that fact. There's no risk to the residents. And for some reason, we know rates have generally gone, but we can't predict these things. But we felt more comfortable locking in a lower rate for 30 months and giving residents the opportunity, because if the rate does continue to climb, hey, we've given them a lower rate for a longer term.
Well, short-term durations actually, by definition, increase risk.
Yeah.
And I would concur. I mean, I've gone outside for alternative vendors for many, many years, and I've always taken, I think, 24, 30, 36-month longer reigns, but I didn't have the opt-in, opt-out privilege. In fact, I had a penalty, if I chose to leave. So this is by far a better option for anyone that has had that consideration. To me, this is a no-win, a no-lose for the town.
And I will also say, everyone on basic service, Eversource Basic Service, will get a letter telling them they'll be automatically moved unless they opt out. But the good news is, with the new guidelines at the DPU, folks who have already signed a contract with a third-party supplier like yourself will get an informational postcard saying this town program is now launching. Here are the products and the rates. If you want to opt in, feel free, but check to make sure you don't have an early termination fee, because we don't want anyone to get slammed. So we're covering, everyone's going to be notified, and information gets out at least.
That covers business as well as residential?
Yep.
That's a correct statement.
All rate classes.
Yep, entire town. Yeah, which, by the way, is good, because nonprofits and businesses cannot take advantage of some of these other rates.
Correct.
And so we are providing a service that they currently don't have.
Yes.
Yeah.
Small businesses, just like residential.
Yeah, or nonprofits, churches, for example.
True statement.
Yep, true.
Yes.
Yep. This is a win-win to me, and I agree on a longer term, but other thoughts? Anita?
I guess the only other thing we haven't talked about is, what do you recommend in terms of, do we offer our citizens one of these plans, or do we offer them the opportunity to choose among the plans?
So at least the discussion that we had was they're trying to bring the most value. So the opt-out product would be the meats, or the identical product to basic service, and then the select board may choose any one of these other products that they were looking at. Now, I believe when we were discussing it with Justin, he was looking at the most economical, which would be the National Wind product.
That was what I initially. Do you want me to chime in real quick?
Sure,
That's what I initially thought. I think we also had from the Energy Committee. I think the Energy Committee, they were interested in offering a Massachusetts sort of plan that had a higher rec requirement. In their memo, they offered two other plans. I thought at least one additional plan might be something, but they offered a recommendation of a mass requirement plus 10%, which if on your indicative is 1, 2, 3, 4th, the fourth option below. And they also asked to see if there was a 50% one, which was the next one after that. I think the only thing that I would want the board to know, and for Denise and Mark to talk about, what they've seen with multiple opt-up programs, I think is important for the board to know that as part of your consideration if you want to offer too many or too little.
The 2 is the maximum. We've seen other people do more. 2 is the maximum we would say to offer, but I'm going to tell you, 95% of the people are going to stay where you decide to put them. So up to you whether or not you want it to have. And I'm just so people can understand the numbers. So the 30-month of the meats compared to the 30-month 10%, that's a difference of a $500,000, but it's about $3 a month per customer or about, over the year, it's about $36 in difference from on the 10%, going up to the 50%. Now you're getting fairly lofty, make no mistake, but that doesn't have to be the default product can be an option. But in that scenario, you're over 2 cents a kilo from the meats product or the basic service product to that 50%. It's about 2 cents, or you're probably looking at around $12 or $144 a year in extra cost. Just back of the envelope. No one uses 600, but if you use more, slightly more. If you use less, slightly less than that $144.
Well, I think we have an obligation to give them the lowest cost option, number one. I mean, that, to me, I don't know how you can not do that. But I do understand that there's some desire to provide one that might be a little bit more energy friendly, I guess is a good way to say it. Although it's a little higher cost if someone would choose that. But I would struggle with adding any additional options because it's going to be confusing enough for folks once we get this started. And personally, one would be my actual preference, but I would certainly acquiesce to 2 if that's the pleasure of the board, but I would have difficulty with 3. Other opinions? Mr. Roach?
I might go along with 2, just in case someone does want one different option. I wouldn't, like you said, I wouldn't go any farther than that.
Ms. Mecklenburg?
So in general, choices are nice. I can see how this would get complicated. I did do some research about energy in Massachusetts, and 50 to 60% of our energy is already green.
Right.
So I think we're choosing between green plans and even greener plans, not between green or not green. So I like the idea of 2 choices, the most affordable one for sure, and then the second one sounds good to me.
That's a good point. 63% in 2025, 63% is the requirement for renewable. So the cheapest one is going to still be 63% green, and you'd be adding to that, whether it's local or national. Yeah, Rex.
So you were a little breaking up at the end. So what is your recommendation, Ms. Mecklenburg?
I think it's cleanest just to give everybody the one choice. But I think people like choices, so let's go with 2 options.
Okay. Are you comfortable with the 10% recommendation?
Nita, I think he meant it was directed to you.
I think we're in agreement that we want the lowest cost as the primary option. I think we're all in agreement on that. That's kind of an easy decision. It's the secondary consideration that you may have different opinions on.
Is a recommendation from Energy Committee, so I think we should go with that.
Okay, I concur.
I agree.
Okay.
Okay, so we're going to do the default
I think we have a decision.
the plus 10, and we're going to get pricing for the 30 months. Or you need to vote, sorry, I'm getting ahead of you.
I'm comfortable with 30. I mean, I wouldn't go crazy if you told me it was 36, but I'm comfortable with the 30.
And there's no magic to the pricing, just so you know. The reason that the 30 is less than the 36 is because you pick up an extra winter. So no reason to spend for 30 months, you're going to spend an extra half a penny.
Yeah, you're right.
So in this scenario, don't do it. Just we'll go back out to bid in the next round.
Very good point. Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Denise and Mark, if you could just give this last summation. So if the board were to proceed with this portfolio, they would authorize me to execute a contract because there's a limited time frame to execute a contract. So please talk about that. And then also, if we did execute in December, we're looking to launch in March 2025.
Does that still hold, March?
It does. It's a bit of a fire drill, so we're
That is a lot quicker than we expected.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. But there's plenty of time. So we've touched base with Justin. If you give him the authority to sign off on money and the pricing is advantageous as it is today, then he could sign off. Meaning, here's the problem. Pricing comes into us by 11. We get it to him by noon. We need a signature now, given the unsettled nature of energy markets in ISO New England, by 2:30. So if you give him the authority, he signs the contract, has about 2 hours to review or touch base with you. If you like what you see, we get a signature and away we go. If by chance, for whatever reason, something happens over the weekend and he does not like the pricing, no decision is a decision. We just kick the can. Maybe we can't start in March, but we'll move it to April. So the problem is we're right up against the holidays, and I don't want to try to get something else in before, Christmas and the New Year holiday. We'll just readdress in January. The problem with that is it'll kick us a month, but it's not the end of the world. It's just 1 month later.
If we vote this evening and authorize him to sign, will we be able to hold this, you think, pretty well?
I do believe there's nothing in the marketplace today that says you're going to see a big change.
So this
No.
should hold.
That is correct. In this ballpark. Couple mills up, couple mills down.
And what we would be looking at is a mailing going out in the middle of January to what we talked about, the basic service would get the opt-out notice, the third-party supply folks would get an informational postcard. They'd have 30 days to opt out till the middle of February roughly, and then they would be enrolled in March. We would look to coordinate with Justin to do some information sessions toward the end of January here at Town Hall or the Senior Center or the library, just so folks can come in and get any questions answered. We would probably suggest at the end of January, just because they'd have the mailing in hand, and that makes the most sense. They have concrete information in front of them. They come in with their bill, that sort of thing.
Could I just ask a favor? That, when it comes to that mailing, could we get a preview of it? And, I mean, could we have some input to it? And my only reason for asking that is that I've seen these situations before, and we don't all speak the same language. And, to a lot of folks, this will be very confusing.
Understood.
And I'm guilty of that. I come from the finance world, and I speak sometimes, my wife accuses me of this all the time. I speak in a language that is very comfortable to me, but not to other people when it gets to financing. You're probably in the same world. And so we need to be sure that it's clear, simply stated, that it's easily read. And I'm not insulting any of our citizens. It's just that the language is unique to the business.
100%. The real issue here is the Department of Public Utilities I'm not saying you couldn't make some small changes. We're happy to share the document with you. But if you start to get off the beaten path, the department gets nervous. They have a form and content they're very comfortable with.
Then maybe we could put a cheat sheet in front of it.
That's a possibility.
You can draft, if you want to draft a welcome letter that goes in front of it, that goes in the envelope.
Just something that,
Yep.
here's the one cheat sheet interpretation of the 12 pages you just got.
Yeah.
Kind of thing.
Unfortunately, yeah, because it was approved with the order
No, it's
for the
okay.
town.
I understand
No, but that's
there
a
are
great
requirements
idea.
that have to be said. I
There is.
understand.
That's a great idea.
But I would love to be able to do something on the front end of that makes it more simple for folks to understand.
We don't have a problem with that at all.
That
None.
works.
As long as we don't, even if we wanted to make small changes, we're okay. We leave the reservation that we have a problem.
If we can put a cheat sheet in the front, I don't care about what's behind it.
That works for us as well.
Great idea, yeah,
Yes.
great idea.
All right. I'm comfortable with this. Ms. Mecklenburg?
Yes.
Mr. Roach?
I'm fine with it.
Do I have a motion? We can't hear you again. Mr. Roach, can you make the motion, sir? Motion to approve this and to authorize the town administrator to sign on our behalf.
I'll make a motion to approve and let the town administrator sign on our behalf.
Do I have a second?
Second.
Roll call vote. Ms. Mecklenburg?
Anita Mecklenburg, aye.
Jim Lehan, aye.
Kevin Roach, aye.
We have a deal.
Excellent.
Thank you so much.
Excellent. We'll be in touch on Monday.
All right.
Thank you very much.
Guys,
Thank you very much. Happy holidays.
Same to you. Best wishes to your family.
Same to you.
That's a huge win.
We're excited about it.
Yeah, very excited about it.
Charlie and the Energy Committee did some sort of preliminary estimates of some savings for residents, but any opportunity that we can help people save
It's an
money,
option.
that's definitely something the
We're
select board
not
is.
forcing anyone to do anything. We're giving them a guaranteed rate that can do nothing but give them an option that could be beneficial.
It's guaranteed to
it's a
save them
no-lose.
money right away, because we know what the service
I
rate
just
is.
want to be sure they understand
Yep.
how it works, because you know what it's like to get this
I do.
in the mail and say, well, I don't understand what it means. I mean, that's not being critical of any citizens, it's just, it's written in a language that isn't for the layman.
Yeah. We're definitely going to do a lot of public outreach on this, because
A cheat
I'm
sheet.
expecting, yes, a cheat sheet's great.
Cheat sheet.
We're expecting a lot of calls, a lot of questions regarding, but we're excited, and I want to thank Charlie and the Energy Committee for their work and assistance on this as
Absolutely.
well.
Yep.
So, thank you.
All right, great.
Yep. The next item is just a real quick update from Kate regarding Town Hill. Obviously, the board knows, but you know what? Toss it to Kate.
Good evening.
Hi, Kate.
You want to hear me?
Yep.
Yep.
Several times. There's an echo.
So before the board, we have a memo regarding the update of the town hall platform. Just a little background to remind you, in May, the town meeting approved Article 23, which appropriated 66 funds, the amount of $71,000 for the project. Then, in late August, the town entered in a contract for engineering services with Wilson Thomas for the same amount. The scope includes surveying, schematic design, design development, construction documents, and construction administration. So, along with myself, the project team includes Recreation Director Ann Proto, DPW Director Blair Crane, and Facilities Director Matt Miller. And we're also working with Dave LaPointe from Beals and Thomas. We've met several times since September. So the work completed so far includes survey work of the entire property, a completed topographic plan, a review of the irrigation system. This was done by consultants, and really they just took a look at what improvements or modifications are necessary for the entire area. And finally, design coordination. So they're reviewing research options for the gazebo replacement, as well as other site furnishings. So that is where we are at the moment. I'm happy to take any questions.
Time frame to get it done?
Definitely.
No, time frame. When spring?
Spring, yes.
Questions, Ms. Mecklenburg?
No, I think it sounds great.
Justin, anything to add?
No. I think, the design development probably will be a spring time frame, and then we'd probably have to, after we get the design documents in that group we put together, we'll have to go to CPC again to get the construction funding for it. So it might be a total year and a half probably process, but definitely, hopefully in the spring, this portion of it will be complete.
Well, before we lose you, Kate, this will be the last opportunity in a selectmen's meeting, I think, that we're going to have the great pleasure of having you join us, which is unfortunate for those that don't know. Mr. Bryan is leaving the quaint little community of Norfolk for the big city and is moving to a very exciting position in Worcester beginning in January. So we want to thank you for all you've done for our community over the last few years. You've been a great asset to us. Hopefully, we've provided you a good foundation for your next step, and we wish you the very best and the greatest success. You will be missed.
Thank you. I just want to thank the board for their support, and also Justin, Amanda, and Judith, and all the staff. I mean, the staff, really, everyone in Norfolk, they're part of the magic. So it's been a pleasure. Thank you.
It has indeed. It's been a pleasure to have you with us. Any other comments from the board? I know, Anita, you've been working with her the longest.
Yes, we will definitely miss your wisdom and your quiet efficiency. It's been really effective for our community, so thank you very much.
Just like to wish you the best of luck in your new position.
Worcester is fortunate to have you. When the big city gets too much for you, you can always come back.
I tried to extend her a month at my department heads meeting today.
All right, Justin, some general updates.
Yeah, real quick updates. Well, I'll just tie into that because I was going to just mention, I wanted to thank Kate. We've worked 2 years together.
Preempt you.
Yeah, no, that was perfect timing. We've worked together for 2 years. I really feel like we've been a strong team. She's an important member of our team. So, as you mentioned, Jim, she's definitely gotten great tools, and I'm excited for this opportunity for her. She's going to be fantastic in her new role. So I just wanted to personally thank Kate as well, since is our final meeting together. It's been a good ride. Thanks, Kate. And then Briefly, I wanted to just give a quick update about the Park Bridge closure. I know the board has been getting a lot of queries about this. We've been getting a lot of queries, as well as the DPW director. I just want to reiterate that, this is a bridge that the state does own. They conducted an assessment or inspection initially, recently, of the bridge, and because out of abundance of caution, they wanted to close that bridge. They are working collaboratively with us. They've given us a liaison. They're speaking directly with Mr. Crane. It's almost seems like it's daily now, just giving little updates. We still do not have a timeline from the state on when the bridge will open, but we are communicating with them. They are going to be out there doing another inspection assessment of it, and based on that inspection assessment, they might be able to give us some timing or maybe alternate whether the bridge is, fully open to one lane of traffic. We will keep the public aware as that information comes to us. We will make sure we relay it to the community, but at this moment, we don't have any other information from the state, so there's nothing more that we can give the public at the moment regarding that bridge closure.
And just so folks know, we were informed of this closure on a Friday morning that it would be taking place on a Monday. So
Yeah.
we apologize for what was a ridiculously short notice, but that was not within our control.
Thank you for bringing it up. That we've mentioned it in a variety of times about the state with that, and obviously we'll try to communicate as effectively and efficiently as we can as we get the information from the state. That's all that I had for that.
Ms. Mecklenburg, anything from you?
But I don't have any updates at this time.
Mr. Roach?
I was just wondering, you had stated as part of your goals that you would like to have more informational sessions with the public. I was just wondering, can we have it at a public forum style where all three selectmen are there to greet have any questions or comments to their citizens?
We can, but there are some concerns with that, because, well, first, they'd be posted meetings.
Yep.
And without agendas published. If we could do it where there were preemptive questions, where we knew exactly what we were discussing. The problem we have when they're not agenda items is that we can be saying things that may be wrong in not know it. I guess is a good way to say it. And when you don't have the background on situations. We can look into it. I go and have sessions one-on-one all the time. But I don't speak for the board.
Right, well, that's why I was just thinking the board would to be together, and instead of one-on-one, we could, if the board together as the select board.
I'm 100% in favor of any form of public communication that we can come up with. I just want to be sure, I would check with town council, just to be sure what rules we might have to follow around such a forum like that. I mean, we have meetings, like we've had one just before town meeting. That was a fun gathering.
Yeah, don't bring that one up.
But, I mean, we can do it. The question is, how meaningful can we make it? Because we can't, there are certain things that we may not be able to really discuss as a board.
Well, maybe we...
But we can give it a shot. I mean, I'm all for it.
Well, maybe we can make it so we can give enough notice and advise everyone they have to send in the questions to the town administrator before any topic we can speak about.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to preempt people from speaking about anything they want to speak about. I have no problem with it at all, personally. Anita, you have thoughts on that?
I'm fine with us being together. I think it gives people an opportunity to talk to all of us. And I think if we don't know the answer, we can just say, we'll get back to you. Like, all we can do is say what we know, right?
Unless town council has some issue that I'm not aware of that says we shouldn't do it, I'm fine with it.
I don't see any issue there. I will do.
I don't think we can do it here.
Yeah.
We'll have to find another location, because if we're going to invite citizens in, we may only get two. We may get a crowd. I have no idea.
Yep, I don't see any issue. I can do due diligence and just touch base with town council based on the board's thing. It's the board's decision, and obviously we'll support it in whatever manner.
Okay. I'm game for anything that involves the community that helps. Sure. Want to give it a shot?
I just figure it's another way for the public to engage with us where we can respond back to them.
Sure. You want to see if we can't plan one for January?
Want to do one in January?
Why not?
Yeah.
Do you want to
We're gonna,
Replace
we're
like
gonna,
a,
we're
make
gonna
it
do.
replace a board meeting or separate from a board
No,
meeting?
I would do it separately.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm going to do 2 TV, you and I are going to do a show in January, and I'm going to do one with the chair of the planning board in January to talk about the 2 major projects that have been presented before this board, so that he can get more detail out to the public. But I'm all for it. Maybe we could use the senior center or the library.
Yep.
What I'll do is, before the end of the year, I will reach out to both Karen Edwards and Sarah and see if there's maybe a location that might work best. And then maybe we can double back with the board early January and see some dates.
Yeah, I
Do you
mean,
wanna do that?
I would consider like the library or the,
the
we
library.
don't want the middle school or anything, I
Well,
mean,
we
you know.
could always use the Grange if necessary, I mean.
Or the Grange?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good, yeah, the Grange should be good as well, yeah.
I'll first reach out
There's a
to
meeting
Karen.
room, by the way, in the fire station.
There's that too. You could do it wherever the board wants to go.
Okay.
We'll try
Well,
to
parking
help
is, you know, you got parking consideration too, but yeah, I'm all for it.
Okay.
Good idea, Kevin.
And then we'll try to double back with the board and just work on the scheduling.
Okay. Other thoughts?
Yep.
That's enough?
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah.
I don't have any real updates, other than I sincerely hope that people have a healthy and joyful holiday with their family. I know sometimes holidays can be difficult when you think they should be joyful, and I hope that people can find joy and comfort in the holidays, however they choose to seek it. But I wish everyone the very best, and I hope that the new year brings us some more calmness and love and consideration for all of us. It's a good world, a good town full of good people, and we need not forget that.
Yep.
I have no other comments. Do I have a motion to approve the warrants?
The warrants as printed in the agenda.
Second.
Roll call vote. Ms. Mecklenburg.
Anita Mecklenburg, aye.
Jim Lehan, aye.
Kevin Roach, aye.
I have a motion to approve the minutes. Mr. Roach.
I make a motion we approve the meetings of November 6, 2024 and November 19, 2024.
Do I have a second? Roll call vote. Mr. Roach.
Kevin Roach, aye.
Jim Lehan, aye. Ms. Mecklenburg.
Anita Mecklenburg, aye.
Any further business, sir?
Nothing else. Wish people happy holidays.
I want to give a special thanks to NCTV for working so hard to get through the difficulties, well past my pay grade, so I would have been useless in trying to help them. But Andrew, as always, thank you for all the hard work you put into this. We appreciate it very much. And to everyone, a joyful holiday. I have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion, the meeting to adjourn.
Do I have a second? Ms. Mecklenburg.
Anita Mecklenburg, aye.
Jim Lehan, aye.
Kevin Roach, aye.
Good night, everyone, and please have
Happy
a
holiday.
peaceful and happy holiday.
Thank you.